Hello everyone. So, how was your Sunday? I know my tutorials are getting late. Every day I just try to do at on time, but somehow I live in house, so that there are some advantages. There are pros and cons at staying at your home, because everything is like everyone has different time. So just managing at the night sometimes become difficult. So I'm just thinking that what should you thought that should I upload this editorial in the early morning, or it is good to be upload in night? Please tell me in comment, because literally I am just morning I do I just study the whole the editorials analysis and do the but I am uploading this at night because I thought there was a one revision time type of process, like just kind of revision, just go through it one time, like just the headlines and important, if I deliver some important things to you, so that you just grab some important lines through this my videos. So I'm just facing some issues on the time of at the 9 between 9 and 10 p.m. I'm just always try, but sometimes there is a weekend also, so there was a just the routine got disbalance. But at the next time I try to just be upload on the at between the 9 to 10 p.m. I know this is got so much late today, but today's Sunday, so there's so many news articles also. There is also interesting article. I take 1.5 more than half an hour and 2 hour between to study total editorials, today's editorials, because there was a lot of science facts. There is a lot about the editorials are also very much, and also some important related to the environment section also. So I try to cover everything, just go through it. I am just giving an overview of this, and some editorial, but I will discuss the editorial in detail, and if anything is left I will cover it on tomorrow's slide, tomorrow editorial, so don't worry about it. So let's have a recap of today's news. So first one is about the Ajikar rape. Ex police volunteer found guilty. Second one is about the uh, same first page. I just copied is because half newspaper or half new headlines are not there, visible there. That's why. Second one, Israel Gaza ceasefire to command today, and Saif Ali Khan knife attacks on cause a super suspect detained. Third one is about the India's Bangladesh farmer clash at international border. Fourth one is about the Modi distributes 65 lakh property cards across the 12 states, union territories. Fifth one is about the 1 minute. Karnataka sheep saps equity cases, death in 2024, and survey adds 22 species to monitor. Next one is doctor transport brain dead. It is in science article, so I have discovered some achievements, some technology related that is used in medical science. So the doctor use a telerobotic system. Seventh is COVID system failed to alter the neuro syndrome for long COVID. Eighth one is about the development in delayed children exposed to Zika neuro utero. 10th one was the will the ceasefire in Gaza strips. What are the impacts of the US? What are the role of there? I will just discuss everything in this article, and what is the causes of fertility level that will decline in India. So let's start the today's revision editorial. So let's go to the front page. So it's about the Ajikar ex-police volunteer found is guilty. So the sentencing to take place tomorrow. There was former civic police volunteer Sanjay Roy. That was the case that held on the 9th August, and that Sanjay Roy guilty of rape murder on duty at state-run medical college hospital. This was the Selda pronounced verdict. Their parents or victim present. The court accused as basis of evidence put forward by Central. 1 minute, just so carried through. Okay, sorry. So accused to forward by evidence by CBI. And basically, there was a charge sheet listed 11 pieces of evidences forming his role, crime, including CCTV footage. It is on next page. It was about like what are the charges on being guilty. Section 64 rape. Section 64 rape. 66 causing death, and 103 1 murder of Bharatiya Nyay Sahinta BNS charges were included on them. And under these charges, the person found, if found guilty, then there is a strict punishment, and there is a no parallel sentences. Basically, these cases here are the charges written here. This happens on the August 9. Sexually assaulted the victim and smoothed her to death. So finally, the CBI took over the case and filed a charge sheet against him on October 7. October 7. So the charges sheet listed 11 pieces of evidence, including CCTV, entering footage, existing scene. So there was a Roy pleaded innocence when verdict was read in the court, and this was one who have done this, so that there has not been guilt. The parents of the deceased doctor broke down after the verdict was pronounced. And just there is a faith in have placed you, the victim father told the judge. The parents had initially accused the police of trying to hush up the crime. So finally, the CBI they had expressed lack of faith in CBI investigation also. But despite of police denying permissions, a crowd has assembled outside Silda Court, where what was held in Silda Court. The junior doctors draw among the maintain the person involved in crime. So next is the Israel-Gaza ceasefire to commence today. There is a big editorial on the next page, so I will discuss in just the headlines about it. So what are the role of the Qatar, US and Egypt maintaining along with Egypt? How much it takes them more than 15 months between Hamas Palestine militants. So November 2000, the deal also saw the release of hostages held by militants in the exchange of Palestine. Israel Justice Ministry 737 Palestinian prisoners detained in first phase. So what is the Lalu's handover RJD reigns to sons Tejasvi Yadav. So here the election in the Bihar, in the run of the assembly election in Bihar, baton has officially handed to Tejasvi Yadav as the lead of RJD, and due to the declining health in the Lalu Yadav, so there's an RJD National Executive Committee meeting in Patna where senior of parties, MP, MLAs, वगैरह everything, and his wife Rabri and oldest daughter Misa Bharti is also there. Was already part of decided the amendment to the party. So the Mr. Yadav is currently the leader of opposite of Bihar Legislative Assembly, and he served as Deputy Chief Minister. RJD formed the government Dal United in. He was a Deputy CM between the 2015 to 2022. Sorry. So he basically thanks to the party, including all the for showing the trust in and big responsibility. Basically, the declining health of and there was a because transplant of kidney as everything. What is the Saif Ali Khan attack suspected? He was a 30-year-old man from Chhattisgarh, Durg by railway station RPF protection officer on Saturday with a connection of knife attack on Bollywood actor. So the suspected identified as Akash Kanojia, and a Mumbai resident was on train that was stopped by RPF at a Durg railway station. Police officer Sanjeev Kumar Sinha, RPS inspector, said Mumbai police had earlier in the day shared a tip off, and finally they found the person. He was found him in general coach. So there's a photo, we found him in general coach, and Mrs. Sinha told the media person. Akash Kambojia, aged 30, a resident of Mumbai, said the officer. They confirmed he was indeed suspect. In question, identifying himself as Akash. Because basically he changed his name. He was a person from Chhattisgarh and was just in the Akash Kanojia. He was detained at Chhattisgarh Durg railway station, residing in Mumbai. No, his name is Ashok Kanodia. Akash Kanodia, sorry. So what are the third party that help to what are the causes of the Manipur violence? There are the tribe basics, so Kuki, Mighty, uh, and Nagas that concurred that peace in ethnic violence affected the state should be brokered by neutral third party. Neutral third party. So the ethnic polarization, there is a need of integration of meeting on the June 17, 2024, when the SAR reviewed security situation in Manipur, and one of the issues that discussed the polarization of the police on ethnic lines. Meeting highlighted the despites of ongoing personals from the communities and deployed in Assam. So Manipuri has been affected by ethnic violence, the ethnic violence that where the communities that live here is a tribal Kuki, Joy, and Manatee people. There was a community violence, ethnic violence, that take place on May 3, 2023, and 1,300 recruits from Mighty community, 350 Nagas, and 260 members from Kukizo. Majorities are Mighties there, so that there was just also a majority of the community that lived. So the ethnic violence, the suppression of the majority over the minorities, you can say. So the moving to the next is India's Bangladesh clash at international border. So here about the how the farmers also protested at the borders and become clashes at the international border. Basically, India sharing a border with Bangladesh is 4096 kilometer, and it is the longest border that we shared with our neighboring countries. There's a question also asked in the percentage terms that how much we share. So it was 26.6%. Already I've written here. In exams there is a questions asked in a percentage term also. So just remember, China is 25, like this. Just I have just covered the one aspect there. So what are the issues there? The bordering areas of West Bengal and Bangladesh clashed on Saturday on Sukhdurpur border of outpost of Madad district. The incident occurred when some Indian farmers, like on normal days, have gone through the fields near the international border outpost. The differences between the BSF, sorry, and surfaced over the few days ago. Indian farmers Indian farmers accused Bangladeshi farmers working on the field across the border or stealing the crops, due to which the argument started between the farmer of both countries. Literally, you can just see that how just the clashes led to there's a clashes of the Indian and Bangladeshi farmers at international border. Something this type of things also can happen. So the incident took a serious turn when farmers from both sides, gathering in large numbers, started abusing and pelting the stones on each other. Press statement issued by South Bengal Frontier. As soon as incident come to the light, the BCP and BJP Jawan reached the spot and brought the situation's control. The ruckus continued some time, but there is no reports of anyone injured. Local television said that there is advised Indian farmer to stay away from dispute and asked to inform the BSF in areas to prevent the situation from worsening. So India's pushed back. BSF claimed Indian farmers have been completely pushed back. Bangladeshi national was observed 50 to 75 meters of international border Saturday afternoon, and the statement said the BSF and BJP commanded unit in concerned areas. BGB and BSF are the commandant of the concerned areas. So moving to the next is Modi distributes 65 lakh property cards 12 state union territories. What was the scheme? Is Savita scheme. Savita scheme. Savita stands for small, sorry, It's centers, survey of village. Sorry, I'm just was remember the abbreviation, but I just forgot. It was a survey of village and mapping with improvised improvised technology in rural in in village area. Just remember here already written, but just try to the remember the scheme. Under this the scheme, there was a basically it was it covers 65 lakh distributed then to 65 lakh persons to the rural families and 50,000 villages. This scheme covers the basically the records of the lands through which the person give a better opportunities, assessment properties, uh, let less dispute of the properties rights. Like let me in detail. Like the union governments said that was to enhance the rural India's economic progress, to facilitate the monetization of property, institutional and credit card through bank loans, due property related to dispute, facilitate better assessment of properties, property tax in rural areas, allow a comprehensive village planning. Around these 2.24 beneficiaries of villages in the Savita scheme. So the distributed by Mr. Modi, and challenge was the challenging of the property right was a global one of the even United Nations has recognized. India was also impacted this challenge. People worth lakh of crores or rupees, but they did not have paper for it. So if everything is digitalization also, and the persons are covered under that scheme, then there is a proper these are advantages they also can get. um, so the disputes properties are snatched. um, Banks do not provide loans over it. Mr. Modi highlighted the vast sufficiency in these classes, Dalits, backward classes, and tribal. Did something about it, PM added. Just before the address distribution property cards of the beneficiary schemes, Mr. Modi said they were now come to the path for financial security. He also credited the BHU Aadhaar system for empowerment of rural India with 23 crore identifications. Beneficiary is also their property cards for a Saturday for incident. People from state from Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, the states that covered here that was covering the areas. So moving to the next, just 1 minute. So there was a survey adds 24 species to the Munar's faunal stock. Just remember what are the species. Questions can be asked. So that has found it important as an environment point of view. So the faunal survey in the Munnar Wildlife Division has added 24 new species. The exercise is undertaken by Forest Department. In association with Travancore. Nature History simultaneously surveyed the Mathikate and Solan National Park, MSNP, Pamadong Sola National Park, Anamodis Sola National Park, Kuri Chumala Wildlife Sanctuary. Just remember these. Where are the locations? Where in which cities is place? So basically it will be if you have a good idea, it is in Travancore Society of Nature, and this covering all the wildlife sanctuaries like Irakuvalam National Park, Chinar Wildlife Sanctuaries from January 8 to 12, and these are the areas where these species are included. So there is an area lying between 500 to 2800 in elevation, surveyed by 21 teams comprising 78 delegates. So there was a 217 species of birds documented during survey, including if new species, thereby increasing the bird population. The Munnar Wildlife Sanctuary Division to 258. So the increasing bird population in Munnar Wildlife Sanctuary division is 258, and these include the brown hawk owl, barred button, spotted owlet, molted wood owl, baya weavers, red munya, Richard pipits, and the nightjar including wood pigeon, peregrine falcon. The MSP record 84 species PSP, 72 ANP, and 8 new butterfly species. 8 new butterfly species. Just so here the endemic butterflies such as, just remember the names, maybe question can ask about the endemic species of the butterflies. So here was the red disc bush brown, Palini bush brown, Palini flirtly, Nilgiri four ring. The question was recently there was a question about that butterfly species which has four rings on their wings, like clouded yellow. Nilgiri tiger are observed. Grass jewel, smallest butterfly in the state. Here the important grass jewel is smallest butterfly in state. Grass jewel, smallest butterfly in state, abundant at Chinar, and largest Indian butterfly, southern birdweed, was the so recorded in most camps, as the 33 species were observed. Despite of this cold weather prevailing, with the addition of 5 new cohorts, the total ordinates Munnar had increased to 58 species. So the 5 relatively common areas are lower elevations which were unrecorded, and the Marcopodus, cod, Sexamilism, Tholitis fabricus, Halogen, Hagen in 1862. So moving to the next, for the medicals and doctor transport a brain dead man hurts in 30 minutes. This happens in the metro line of ORR in Hyderabad Friday. To a rush organs taken from 34-year-old brain dead man to recipient in different hospital. So the Malgan had met an accident and was taken to private hospital in Hyderabad. Despite medical term efforts, condition worsened. Doctors declared brain dead on Friday. Subsequently, his family consent to donate his organs. So the green corridor on metro line facilitating the transportations of Naveen's heart to Gilenius Hospital at Ladipur, of distance 30 km, covered in 13 minutes. So across 30 station, Hyderabad Metro Rail Station, L&T Metro Rail Station Limited, and management of Dr. walked to simultaneously the team of Naveen's lungs to Yashoda Hospital in Hector City. The green corridor ORR, the 39-minute began journey reached till destination 10:24. So here was the green corridor, how metro line connecting the outer ORR ring, basically transmission of 13 km in 30 minutes. Here the first doctor used tele-robotic system to heart surgery over distance of 286 km. Basically it is India's first indigenous tele-robotic system successfully conduct a complex heart surgery over 286 km, achieved India between a patient and operating surgeon. The longest physical separation. So there is a distance of about 286 km where the patient operation of surgeon and here, and how it is done by using a tele-robotic system. So the robotic system SSI Mantra, developed by the medical company SSI Limited, and first of its kind system in India, which conducted a surgery on 9 and 10, two men age 59-56, and team at SSI Robotics control in Gurugram, another in Manipur Hospital in Jaipur. The first procedure was internal. What was the procedure? Internal mammary artery harvesting, which involves removal of artery for a coronary artery by bypass grafting. Basically the arteries, coronary artery, so there is removal of artery for coronary artery, and there is a grafting methods. Basically grafting is like anything that is grafted by two organs just grafted, like sticking each other using the that parts for. So the second was total endoscopy. Endoscopy coronary artery bypass. Second was total endoscopy coronary, but it means using of the endoscopic for the artery bypass, which is considered as a complex cardiac surgery. Work on the artery while heart is still beating. If the still heart is beating, there is a surgery. So there is basically the carotid vascular surgery in a hospital, Manipal Hospital in Jaipur said, and 10 medical staffs. Technology supported latency. What is a better precision is latency, time ensuring, good connectivity, and being prepared for medical technical problems are the challenges. These are the things that should be if a good better precision will be held, so that the advantages and advantages are reduced time operation, better precision, minimal operations, trauma to the body, less trauma to the in the term of incisions, blood loss recovery. There's everything, infection is also less. So the surgery was successful because of the technology enabled a latency of 35 to 40 millisecond in a 20th, and meaning of actions executed in the Gurugram and almost simultaneously transported robotic surgery. The Sudhir Srivastava, the founder of SS Innovations, who specializes in robotic surgery. So these things are also just evolving with the time. There is a telerobotic system of by which surgery are taking place from the two very miles apart. So moving to the next is, what is the COVID-19 vaccines fails to alter the neuro symptom for longer. So what are the impacts? Is there is a failing of any neuro symptoms that was happening in the long COVID. So here the COVID-19 has found a vaccination prior to the SARS-CoV-2 infection and does not necessarily reduce the neurological manifestation and burden of long COVID. Just let me visit to that page. I am with glasses now, so that they're just creating a pressure on eyes lot. And this phone screen's just getting irritate a lot to my eyes. And so there is a includer. What are the common neurological systems COVID include? Common neurological systems are brain fog, numbness, headache, dizziness, problems with small intestine, and intense fatigue. So basically these are the problems that was neurological symptoms of long COVID include. So the beginning of study, there's a hypothesis since that COVID-19 vaccines reduces the severity of COVID-19 diseases. Vaccines may also similarly reduce the neurological manifestations, long COVID finding. So that there are severe acute COVID-19 and the rate of hospitalization and death of sobering conclusion to the study of infection. So the study recalls that what was the, let me just give a here the just this overview of there are 1300 patients from neurological symptoms long COVID were recruited for study. It had two groups, 200 participant, just there is a 200 participant hospital, and severe COVID-19 1100 participant with only mild disease. So the neurological symptoms of long COVID occurred at a immaterial whether infections occurred before infection. So for severe COVID, there is 1100 participant only with mild disease. So the 10 months after, symptoms one shed brain fog, numbness, tingling, headache were the most common neurological. Three most common neurological symptoms in people with disease were brain fog, headache, and dizziness. Participant forms the cognitive test has a vaccination and difference based on vaccination status at the time of infection. So what is the study recruited that there is a 1300 patient from neurological patients basically I've already discovered here 1100 participant has only mild COVID-19 symptoms. Already the data is given here. So then what is the, so how much the data basically just what is the percentage here, like the symptoms, what is the onset brain symptom, onset brain fog 86.5%, headache 56.5%, and numbness and tingling, numbness and tingling. Basically when numbness and tingling, we're not in the state of just you are the fact that was not conscious basically. It was 56.5%. For the patient with mild, there is 83.9 brain fog, headache 70.9%, dizziness 53.8%. Infection patient is 50.6%. So basically the study shows that the patient developing neurological symptoms for a long COVID are breakthrough and infection have a high burden of comorbidities. So then those pre-vaccination infections and the longitudinal studies of the outcome and breakthrough the infections. So there is a 71 patient previously hospitalized for severe COVID-19. These are data, just 90.5% of COVID-19 they are significant. So just moving to the next article, just have a go through these. These are the one data facts given here. Nothing so much I like to tell. So moving to the development delays in children exposed to Zika in utero. So how the Zika is affecting in utero when there is a development delays, the person was exposing to Zika. So here the study published exposure to Zika while in stillborn can lead to greater risk for neurodevelopment delay in early childhood even when the children are born without any symptom, congenital Zika syndrome. You just remember this, what happens in this congenital Zika syndrome. So basically compared with the control group, the risk adverse outcomes in the children exposed to virus in utero are nearly fold higher. Significantly higher in exposed children, result study were published. Researcher enrolls 148 mother infant pair, included 79 Zika exposed during pregnancy, 69 pairs exposed to virus. Control group 146 children included in study, 27.4% had adverse outcome, including 30 of 77, 39.0% in exposed group. So according to the author, recent studies have shown Zika virus damages the neutral progenitor cell hippocampus region, crucial for learning memory. Basically discussing the brain parts about that hippocampus areas. There's a midbrain, cerebrum. So the hypothalamus, and there's a it consists it comes in the brain is divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. So basically it comes in the hypothalamus region in midbrain. So here the how it is causes, it was neuroprogenitor in hippocampus, that is hippocampus is responsible for memory, learning, cognitions, emotional response. So the children was most affected with 35% were showing a language delays. Basically they are slow in learning the language delays. the children born to mother who infected during the first trimester has significantly high risk. The mother who are affected in first trimester, that was highly risk. So the cognitive delays the mother was infected during the third trimester, study found no association with compared to the first and second. There is 44% pregnant where maternal infection occurred first trimester at least 11 point 11.2 fold greater. So it basically 80% infected pregnant women. So basically here the 80% pregnant infected pregnant women shows no symptom, and there is also that there is no symptoms at all. So they're finding pregnancy. So just the underscores challenges is in identification also. So here this underscore the complexity identity, because if the identification is not then there is a asymptomatic cases which may result in estimating the total number of cases. So the clinical this supports the hypothesis that prolonged viremia, acute phase of persistent Zika virus in body compass like a semen, they note. So moving to the next, what are the will the ceasefire in Gaza Strip hold? So this after the 15 months of fight time, I'm just giving the summary overview. The article is coming from at least 2 to 3 days continuously, and just there's some points just adding through the some points in this article, like what are the rules of the US and how the Joe Biden just at the end of their rule, what are the changes they did before just ending their term. So that 15 months of fighting that was held at 7 October 2023, 7 October 2023, in which 1200 people killed. Israel and Hamas accepted ceasefire in Gaza. Finally the war is going to end. So the Israel 24 members cabinet give approval to the agreement. So there was it was came in force on Sunday, where mediated by Qatar, Egypt, US, and how it hold provided desperately a needed relief for Gaza, a teeny strip along the Mediterranean Sea. Just remember this location of Israel. I'm just forgot to put the ad in this slide because there's a basic need of slide. The how Israel Gaza strips, these locations where Mediterranean, how it is surrounded by Mediterranean Sea. These all should just remember. This can be an important map based questions also. Map based question, just revise one time. I will also revise. So the Gaza tennis strips along the Mediterranean Sea are relentlessly bombed by Israel Defense Force IDF over the past 15 months, in which 46,000 Palestinians were killed. So what are the terms? Basically the term was the 42-day first phase terms, which was allow the entry of 600 trucks. IDF is expected. So just there's 3 phases. Let me just discuss that phases. What is the so in the first phase, here the Israeli troop will remain in the Palestinian corridor on the Rafah crossing, which means Israel will continue to monitor Gaza's border with Egypt. On 16th, the day of first phase, discussion is expected to begin second phase. So if the first phase is implemented in Hamas captivity, Israeli troops still there and some buffer zone in Gaza. Second stage, Hamas will be required to release most of the troops, 65 hostages. Most of the remaining living hostages, and both sides should be declared a permanent end to hostages. And third phase will discuss on the day after. So why did both parties accept a ceasefire? Because they don't have any they do not have many much options. Like the deal accepted by both parties is not essentially different, but deal offered again 8 months ago. So the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dismissed the agreement, saying that Israel will continue its military offense Gaza until it meets objective. So there is a lot of change reason since Israeli believes a regional standing since his Hezbollah, the Lebanese militia organization, had lost the most of the top leadership in Israeli attack. The IDF killed the most of the leader of Hamas, including the Yahya Sinwar. Israel carry out massive airstrike in Iran. So more importantly, the fall of Assad regime in Syria has further weakened the Iran so-called axis of resistance in West Asia. So the factor probably influenced him to change his position about the deal with Hassan, but for not for all. Another month of fighting, Israel failed to meet its declared objective in Gaza when he launched the war. Mr. Netanyahu said Israel would dismantle Hamas. Israeli attack have degraded Hamas military infrastructure, but original Haftar. Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, just remember his name. Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary, has assessment that Hamas could recruit it as many fighters as it had lost. So the inability to meet its objectives through the military means to might have influenced the Israeli leader pragmatic view in pausing the conflict of hostages. So what are the role of U.S. basically? So the Washington continues to supply weapons to Israel. Here is just a role of the U.S. Israeli Washington has supplied the weapons to Israel, offered a diplomatic protection to Israel at global fora. Mr. Biden refusal the use of effective pressure tactics on the Israel meant that later continued to war despite the push for ceasefire. The private Washington public call and private diplomatic push for ceasefire. Mr. Biden claimed a ceasefire was reached just day before he left the White House. Arab and Israeli media claimed that Trump factor also played a key role because Trump had earlier says all hell will break the loose. There is no agreement between Israel and Hamas break before he take office on January 20. So there was a conviction that after just leaving the White House and entering after the Donald Trump, the matter should be just clear so that uh, because it can be a bad influence for Israel and Hamas. US is already a very strong economy. It can just do anything. After coming to Trump, the matter can be worse. So before just taking the oath on 2047 president, Mr. Trump, West Asia envoy, made the negotiator in Israeli leadership last week. So the Mr. Trump known his proposal and not like US being drawn into another never-ending war of the region, and US was being drawn into another. So also the Israel-Hamas war paused the Houthis of Yemen and their attacks. If the Red Sea calms down, the normal freight traffic through the Suez Canal could resume. So why the phase 3 is going to challenge? Because as of now focus, both parties would be implementing the first phase, which had a fair chances of being implemented. Second phases could be see the exchange of more hostages. And phase 3. Here's a phase 3 that Hamas had demanded a complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. So the Israel now realizes it cannot dismantle Hamas. The organization would survive in one way or another. On a practical note, Israel does not want to leave Hamas and ruling fighting force Gaza. So this poses a dilemma for Israel because if it agrees to end the war and leave the Gaza, Hamas would remain a militant insurgency in Gaza. So if the Israel continue to stay in Gaza, there won't be a lasting ceasefire agreement and war of attrition will go on. So but basically this is not an ending of war, but the ceasefire is like what are the Israeli if continue to stay in Gaza or not. Like they if he stay, then there is no end of lasting ceasefire agreement and war of attrition will go. So next moving to the what are the how the it's Bhopal waste safely disposed of. So there was a already a news of covering of the how much it was. I'm also forgetting. It was the carbide facility, Union Carbide facility. Was a ton much how much ton was not mentioning, somewhere it is mentioning. So it was a Pithampur industrial area in Dhar district on December 3. The Madhya Pradesh High Court 4 week deadline year after. So it's year after the Madhya Pradesh High Court has set a 4 week deadlines, and 4,000 people were killed. What was the waste status? So December 2 to 3, 1984, there was a result of poisonous gas leaking from plant which Union Carbide has set up to manufacture fertilizer. The waste at facilities composed of ingredient to make this fertilizer. What are the waste compose? The ingredient that make fertilizer. After years of lying in Bhopal and multiple petitions from civil society, the MP government was inserted the waste in a treatment storage facility and disposal facility, that is TSDF in Pithampur, more than 200 km away from official arrange 200 km away arranged package and transported in a secure long haul container. So on January 6th, the Madhya Pradesh High Court state government's 6 week to safely dispose the waste, to save the waste. And there was a effect on this, because these are the uh, time, if it's, there is a time to spread awareness about the manner of disposable and measures to minimize the health on environment. So the central government has allocated the 126 crore to allocated to state to incinerate the waste and deposit residue in TSDF landfill. So why Pithampur? Because in 2012, Supreme Court selected Pithampur facility as being most suitable final destination of waste, because CPCAB sold TSDF states include landfill, incinerator, and just attesting the TSDF ability to handle the waste. In 2015, Madhya Pradesh organized a trial run in which the state had secretly advanced. So according to the Bhopal gas tragedy, the Rehabilitation Department Director Swarn Kumar Singh, it's not Swarn. So here about the gas tragedy relief and state public. Bhopal Swatantra Kumar Singh, the emission of trial gas were relation and there is no adverse effect on the environment and public health. So is the waste are harmful? The trial waste consisted 4.8 tons extracted. This ton I was founding 4.8 tons of excavated waste, in which 1.6 tons are semi-processed. 1.3 tons of carbon residue, 0.8 tons of reactor. According to December 24, Regional Director of CPCB Gopal has collected a test of water sample from around Pithampur TCDF report. So the WW2425 indicated that the chloride, sulfate and fluoride concentrate in hardness and amount of is exceeded a permissible limits. So however, the release of, according to the scientists involved, analysis and linked to the 12 villages found is. And what's the next? The Madhya Pradesh has temporarily incinerating the waste. Authorities here the local protest. There was also a local protest, including 2 attempts of self-immolations. Means they would first like to improve the public confidence in the safety disposal processes. Also, there is a prepare of 50 odd master trainers. These are the initiative that was taken for science teacher, professor, officials. So there's a Dhar collector is Priyank Mishra, saying that this will be informed about exact status of waste before people to dispel information. How it is done? There's another trial in 90 kg batch in which 1200 degrees Celsius is will be incinerated at temperature. This is a temperature of incinerations. Basically, disposal is through the it's a heating process above the temperature in which it is burned in some container type of things. So there is a so the most of organic compounds is also found in that like naphthol that was destroyed subjected to 560 to 650 degrees C. Operating hazardous waste 982 World 100 C. So there is a 270 kg each over 3 months, and the batch size reduced and duration of extended to the 9 months. So sorry. So let's move to the next one, is why the fertility levels are declining in India. Already there was also an article about it, but let's just discuss. So what are the factors can be? Basically, today's the fertility rate are why it was declining. Like the global, this data was as global burden of disease injuries factor study 2021 tells us that India has moved from fertility rate of 6.18 in 1950s to total fertility rate TFR 1.9 in 2021. So here it is written. So the point out is below the average number of fertility is 2.1, which would have to be average. The woman should have replaced herself for generation for a population stability. So the GBD study project says that further 1.04 barely one child per woman by 2100. So it will be 21, there basically barely one child per woman. So the steep falls the fertility level has triggered the concern about political and socio-economic exercises in 2026. What is the country had one of the oldest birth control family planning programs, increased female literacy, workforce participation of the women, empowerment and empowered aspirations, adoption of family planning initiative. The decline of fertility rate has also been lot due changing social attitudes toward like marriage and reproduction, with women increasingly exercising their choices. They prefer to marry late, the delaying in marriage, the because there is a now there is a firstly to settle the career also, then after financial independence over the motherhood, choosing career over financial independence over motherhood. The rising rate of infertility, so the rising rate of infertility is also exercising choice. They often prefer to marry. These are all data absolute. With increasing number of the young, the increasing number of the young men and women opting to go abroad, also the migration is the reason. Younger and women are opting to go abroad for higher study, jobs, for choosing settle down and raise their families, where migration is another key factor also, decline of fertility. So what are the implications here? So because it resulted in rapid demographic transitions in southern states. The consequences of aging, there is aging population. If there is a aging population, it means that there is a more spend on the health facilities also, healthcare and social security measures for care for increasing their increasing population in elderly. Migration of youngsters in search of better prospects is also an issue. So what is happening in southern state? Basically, there is a concern over irreversible fertility declining across country, but so more earlier than rest of India. Kerala has led a demographic transition in south and achieving the replacement in level of fertility mid 2000. So another four state achieving the mid 2000. Along with the implications, human development, state has also seen a low economic investment and growth. Educated young are leaving the state. Population expected to surpasses, and change attitudes toward marriage, motherhoods beginning reflect. These are all the problem. Labor wages, high quality of life index. Also, there is abortion reason is also proportion to age. Recons, internal migration from other states. What is the way first? Fertility decline is a most always irreversibly and graphs and announced to going down may never bounce. Countries like South Korea try to stem the demographic crisis by pumping millions and have failed. The fertility rate plunged from 0.78 in 2022 to 0.73 in 2023. So the demographer suggests that socio-economic policies have propelled the growth of the youth, and propelling the growing population of senior citizens can help in reducing the impact of replacement of level of fertility rate of country. So just concluding the news today, just let have a summary of the news. So here the Ajikar rape ex-police volunteer Sanjay Roy was found guilty, and there is a sections granted on him. So next one is about the ceasefire, that Israel ceasefire commenced on today. Third party that led to the broker peace in Manipur. Third one is about the Bangladesh farmer clash at international border. Fourth one is about the Modi's distribute 65 lakh property card Savita scheme, under Savita scheme. Fifth one is about the survey adds 24 species to Munnar faunal stock. Also just read this if you, I have marked the importance one, just their datas are facts. Seventh one is about the COVID vaccines and what are the neuro-long symptoms for long COVID. Eighth one is about the how is the Zika exposing the affected utero led to delays in development. Ninth one is how the ceasefire in Gaza Strip and what are the other countries' role there, US roles. 10th one is about the how the Bhopal safely disposed of, what are the laws passed there and what the final decision. And 11th is about what are the fertility level decline in India. So I know today's articles are long because there's so much of science facts, and also I'm covering every editorial, just trying to deliver you everything so that just go through the one time by reading yourself also. So thank you for today. I will come with tomorrow editorial. Till now, good night, take care.